One. Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's live session. And of course, I am Dr. Aderinsola Adio Adekboju, founder of iTrain Africa and the Skill for Work Academy, and I'm a global opportunities expert. And for me, this is an exciting evening because I'll be discussing exactly what global opportunities are. And why do I like to talk about this topic from time to time is because a lot of people assume global opportunities just mean jobs. But I always say when you are a professional with experience, you can explore 9 other categories of global opportunities. So don't just get your eyes fixated on jobs because jobs is just one of the global opportunities that you can access. And that is why I'll be dissecting that topic here today. I've been talking about this topic since forever. And why am I the best person to teach you about the various categories of global opportunities? It is because I have basically experienced this myself in terms of the global opportunities that exist. I have experienced that myself, and I cannot even overemphasize. I keep telling people that global opportunities took me across 5 continents, and somebody else was paying for that journey. So when I see people not actually understanding what exists and how they can access it, I'm like, 7.4 million global opportunities are released like annually. And even if I was winning one every day, that's just 365 that I can probably win. And I would not even qualify for everything that exists. So it means that there are some of you in this room that you qualify for these things and you are not even accessing it. And if you are joining me on IG, hi. I think I need to, increase this my lighting next time, but it's not tonight. I'm really tired. So as I was saying, it's important that when we know what exists, then we can then discuss the steps on how do we then access what exists. So tonight's topic is what are global opportunities? And of course, for those of you on IG, there's a Zoom session going on. Why do I always host Zoom sessions and all these things? Is because sometimes this turns to a workshop where I get to demonstrate using my screen share stuff on Zoom. So there are 2 ways you can, if for instance, I'm getting to speak and you realize that I've gotten to the Zoom parts, please, what I would just ask you to do is you can just go to YouTube, look for iTrain Africa, and you will see what is going on. This is currently being streamed to YouTube, so you would always be able to see my screen on YouTube, even if you cannot get into this meeting. And if you want to be able to get into this meeting, just send a DM in my listing. I think my assistant is Moina would respond to you with this.
The link is on the status, on the IG status, so they can use the link.
Thank you so much. Okay, so if you're on IG and you want to join us on Zoom, the link is at the top of my bio. Somewhere, just click it, you'll see the Zoom link. You can join us on Zoom in case I need to share my screen. Now, let's get right to it. Now, what are global opportunities? Let's start from there. What exactly are global opportunities? They are the opportunities that exist to people across borders, meaning you are Nigerian, Kenya, Ghana, and everything. You are not limited based on your location. And they are typically things that are geared towards advancing our life or careers. And they are beneficial to us in one way or the other, whether it is helping us grow in an aspect of our life, maybe business, life, career, education, or whatever. So there are various types of global opportunities but just remember that they are typically opportunities that is not just locality of where you are born or where you live do not determine your eligibility for it, right? So think about that. Now that we know what global opportunities are, the next question people always ask me is, how do I then access global opportunities? I always say there are 2 major ways to access global opportunities. The first one is whether you're applying for them or you are attracting them. Those are the 2 major ways to secure global opportunities. How do you secure them? That you're applying for them or you are attracting them. And I would say I have been using those 2 methods since 2016. So technically, for 9 years, I have been winning global opportunities using these 2 different methods. And which brings us to the next thing is now what exactly are like the various categories of global opportunities that exist. So here's what I would do, where it gets very practical. I would take opportunities I've secured in my life and one by one, I'll be, saying this is an opportunity. This is a global opportunity. And based on my knowledge, you have about 9 to 10 categories of global opportunities. Okay, let's start from the common one, job. Job is the one that everybody practically knows, as in, oh, I want a global job, I want a this thing. Fantastic. Of course, because it's going to earn you money. Now, job can be applied for and a job can be attracted. You remember I said that there are two major ways to secure global opportunities, secure application or attraction. Now, how do I mean jobs can be attracted? It means that if you have built an online profile on LinkedIn that suggests that you are the value, you can attract the job. And I kid you not, there are several of my clients that have attracted jobs on LinkedIn. I did not say they applied, like attracted. If you are on Instagram, just go to the top of my page. There is one video that is there, Dr. Charles Ayoka. He has 32 years oil and gas drilling experience. The current job of him as the MD of an oil and gas, he attracted it off LinkedIn. Right? Why? By just, he went through the GOP program, put together his profile, did positioning, and they are reaching out to him and say, can we, and he's the one saying, no, I cannot show you up in Abuja tomorrow. What do you want? That kind of thing. So you can attract the job depending on the kind of value you bring to the table. And LinkedIn is one place that this thing, and that is not the only person. There's another of my clients like that, Tifa, that I know that if I start to look at the number of things she has attracted, I do not say jobs of LinkedIn, they are numerous. Sometime in March, she attracted the role of a CEO of an agri as an agri startup to say, come and be our CEO. And why am I using this kind of top this thing? Like if you can attract CEO role, CTO role, I have a client that's attracted a CTO role, MD of an oil and gas and all that, not to now talk of the ones that are smaller. And I know there is an entry level person that went through our workplace fundamental skills program that attracted role of what's it called? Is it executive assistant or one on LinkedIn? So I had to use those various things to say, and of course, there are quite a lot of our students that then use the application to say, oh, you taught me this about doing CV and cover letter, and I've been able to attract. I remember there was one Ghanaian lady who did WFS, I think, I don't know, I think sometime last year, and she applied for this, is it virtual assistant or executive assistant? Something assistant, again, using the application method. She's Nigerian, she got the job in Ghana and everything like that virtually. So why am I using all this situation? It is because almost all categories, and I say almost all categories of opportunities can either be attracted or applied for. I would say, oh, now, that's one job. Let me put number two kind of global opportunities that people also know. So I will start first with the ones you know, then go to the ones that probably you may not really know. Let's look at the second one, business grants. Now, business grants are things that are very, very useful for entrepreneurs to scale their business or to grow their business. And whenever I say it's a global opportunity, it means that based on the criteria of those that are setting that particular thing up, it may be open to this thing. A typical example would be the Tony Elumelu Foundation, which I've been a part of before in the past. I can't even remember what year now, where you, what's it called? You apply from various African countries and all that stuff. If you're an African, you can get into it. Of course, that's yeah, that's a business grant. And of course, the most recent one for us, which is the MasterCard Foundation EdTech Fellowship. I think that's still like my biggest grant money kind of win, which is a MasterCard, which is 100,000 USD and all that for business growth and all. So it is important that we know that is under global. Of course, MasterCard Foundation is a global organization that then supports various initiatives, from business initiatives to academic initiatives and things like that. So yeah, those are global opportunities. Now, I want to call your attention to something before I proceed with the various categories. Or maybe, you know what, let me be done with the various categories. Then we'll talk about that thing later. Just tell me that I want to speak a little around eligibility at the end of the categories I'm listing. Please, just in case I don't get there, I'm trying to watch my time. Three major things I want to cover today is the definition, the categories, and eligibility for how you then, qualify and things like that. Now, the third one I want to mention after business grants will be academic scholarships. Now, academic scholarship typically are scholarships that you use towards education, whether it is tuition, cost of living, and all that stuff. There are academic scholarships that, are geared towards your schooling or whatever. That is already another global opportunity. Again, I'll use whether it is me or my client to cite an example. An example would be someone that, like one of the people that first started to, teach somewhere back in 2022, who had a first class in from school and wanted to basically go and school abroad, fully sponsored US and everything like that. And we were able to secure a fully funded 5 years master stroke PhD program that was going to cost about $47,000 annually. So if you look at that 5 year scholarship, it means that you're getting almost like 50K for 5 years. That means this person secured 250K in what of academic scholarship in USD. So again, does it have a process? Yes. So I always say, please take note. When it comes to business grants and academic grants, which is, business grants and academic scholarship, most of the time you always have to apply for them. Like for instance, the Mastercard Foundation, we had to apply for them. The scholarship I'm talking about with this thing and some couple of other people that has come to me before, you had to apply for them because things like school, you need to fill forms and all that. Same thing with business, all this kind of big business grant. You need to fill a form for you to put all your business details. It is hardly attracted. However, I know if someone that's come on my this. Why I say however is there was this lady that came on my GOP program. She learned how to do GOP positioning on LinkedIn and everything like that, which was supposed to attract us other categories of global opportunities. But because of how much she had positioned on LinkedIn and she had talked about our sector, which is the agri and everything, someone actually reached out to her on LinkedIn and said, oh, I have this particular opportunity. It's a business, one thing. By the way, at the time, this person did not have a business. She was just a professional with expertise in that sector and was thinking about doing certain initiatives. And that person reached out to her to say, oh, there's this 5K. That's five. Whenever you hear me say 5K, 50K, is US dollars. So there was this 5K grant that is sent her link to say, I think you should put in for this based on what I've seen you this thing. And she did get it. So, and I think that's even opened my eyes. Oh wow, that proud to then I'd always said, oh, when it comes to business grants, you need to apply. But I then realized that some of them, even if you need to apply, when people see that you are already like, let me say, of a certain authority level for certain things, they send it your way. And whenever that happens, it's like you're almost certain you're getting that thing. Why do I say so? Because it's like they've pre-qualified you that you are worth it. You've pre. So it's just like the remaining things, like let me say you have formalities of you filling form to get all your information, right? So please, I always put a caveat, and it has also happened for one of my clients also in academia. This person worked with maybe 3-4 years ago. She also did GOP, which is a Global Opportunities Program for Professionals. And she was a lecturer at Covenant, I think, as her then, but she needed to relocate to the US, I remember. And these opportunities that has to do with PhDs, or postgraduate or something like that, I saw that opportunity on LinkedIn. Like, let me say, it was a research-based something around a specific area. I said, oh, this thing is going to qualify. Like 2 weeks, you can get on this thing, and within 2 months, you're going to leave for Nigeria. And like she actually did, go through that particular role because what I recommended to her then is if you are an academic, like in the academic space, and you have maybe a PhD degree or something, that's one of the fastest ways, like actually looking out for positions on LinkedIn. When I say positions on LinkedIn, like people, faculty of maybe places like Canada and the US, they would typically put out opportunities on all those, like on their pages or on their school pages. Again, please note, I know how to optimize my LinkedIn. I always say for every professional that is looking for anything, whether it is postdoctoral you're looking for, you're this thing, you need to build that is non-negotiable. Please, let's be clear. It's non-negotiable. If you are trying to attract opportunities, you investing time and money in fixing the entire how you look online, because LinkedIn is your professional how you look online, is non-negotiable. So for all these people that I was talking about, you can see that I'm saying, oh, this person worked with me on maybe GOP, this thing, using them as an example. So I am just putting that there like upfront because if someone is going to recommend, as in look at you and say, oh, take this business grant, it's because they have, like you came correct. Let's be clear. So same thing with the other person that was saying that first you had to come correct, because if you're going to send an opportunity to somebody on LinkedIn to say, oh, I think I recommend you for this thing, they will first check that person out. That is what's going to happen. And they will check them out right on the LinkedIn. Forget, you are not even going to send any academic paper yet. Like no academic paper, no publications, no, like that first thing of whether I want to ask you to send academic paper or whether like Dr. Charles, that they reach out to him and say, oh, let's get you into an interview. They had first checked out the, like you had checked before that reach out is even happening. They've checked you out. Please, let's be clear. Whenever you are trying to get inbound opportunities, it is a function, it is a direct function of your perception on LinkedIn. So if you know you want to go the attraction route because you have experience, whether it's in academia and this thing, your GOP is non-negotiable. Please, let's be clear on that one. So now let's go back. We have talked about the scholarship, the business grants, and the jobs. Now let's move to another category. I call those ones innovation labs. What are innovation labs? Again, I'll just use practical examples of whether my life or my client's life. GOP, for instance, the Unleash Global Innovation Lab is an innovation lab, and they are typically labs that an innovation lab could be an incubator or an accelerator. An incubator is where you're just, business ideas, you are putting it together, you're trying to put it together to then create a solution and things like that for problems that exist. That is like an incubator innovation lab. And then there are accelerators where, oh, the problem as in, you already have products. You are trying to accelerate that thing. So now innovation labs, I think the first innovation lab I got into was the Unleash Innovation Lab in 2018, which took me to Singapore. And it was an all-expense paid this thing. And that is one of the opportunities I always say that is the most global in nature kind of opportunity I've ever experienced. Okay, I can see Moina commenting, sending me a message to say people need more explanation on how GOP benefits them. Please, I'll come back to it in a bit. Let me just round off my thoughts around Innovation Lab. So now I always say innovation labs are the ones that has the most global dynamics. For instance, the Unleash Innovation Lab that I was a part of in 2018, in my set that we converged in Singapore, we had people from 110 countries. And I remember that year I was in UK doing a part of my PhD in the UK, and I flew in from UK to Singapore to do that particular innovation lab. And I always bless the Lord that I did apply for that thing. It was an application-based process. That was not an attraction, right? As in where I then applied and got selected as one of the 1,000 people from across the world who got into the innovation lab to build solutions to existing problems. Now, innovation labs, why I really love it is because, especially for the global ones, the Global Innovation Lab, because again, I've organized a local innovation lab in Nigeria where we had people from Nigeria, startups, as the people that are, working on starting their own business and things like that. So the global kind of innovation labs, like the Unleash, beyond you, traveling to that place and doing all that stuff, I feel like the biggest gain from an innovation lab is always the network you get. So today, I don't think there's any part of the world I want to go to that I don't know someone. I cannot reach out to someone. And if you've been with me on this journey for a long time, you would have attended one of my conferences. That is a global the Global Mentorship Conference. And if you see the dynamic nature of the speakers are always there. I always have speakers from about 25 nations at my conferences. It is because I'm able to pull that network. So technically, when a Nigerian sees me saying, oh, wow, who is this lady? Who is this nobody in quote? Where, the big industry players cannot even get to international people on their conference, whereas this lady will come and she'll be having like people from 25 nations. How is she doing it? That is one of the benefits of getting into global opportunity. Because sometimes people say, I don't even need the money. My job is okay. I say, my sister, money does not solve all your problems. I can tell you for free. Because even if I had $1 million, I may not have been able to pull people from 25 nations for one edition of my listing. And I mean people that are really doing well in their industry. But because I have been privileged to be selected as one of the 1,000 problem solvers that attended our innovation lab. It also means that whoever they selected from other countries is also pretty smart. They are, brainies. There are people that are doing big stuff in their own part of the world. So me getting them into this thing, because again, iron sharpens iron, they are able to say, oh yeah, I'm training my way behind this person. So for me, the network that you get from that global innovation lab is a real currency. Of course, it was fully sponsored, as in, spent how many days? Maybe 8 days. The trip, everything, food, everything was, covered. So I always say, please take notes. Um what's it called? Is not the main this thing. It is the main thing is the the main um the main takeaway is always in the network that you have. Now, the next one, I've talked about Global Innovation Lab. The next category I would like to mention, I may not be able to run through 10 this night because of time. The next category I want to mention, because I'm picking them and explaining how they work and this thing. Please take note, for innovation labs, global innovation labs, they are typically age restricted most of the time, because whenever you're talking about innovation in the global space, like all the Silicon Valley kind of innovation kind of stuff, they always believe that it is youths that that are very what's the English I'm looking for? They believe that it is youths that can get innovation going. So they would typically restrict the age to about under 35. And by the way, the definition of a youth by the UN is 15 to 24. But because of the African nature, where we are late bloomers, we don't really get into innovation early. So whenever they are choosing people for such innovation labs, it's under 35. So please take notes. There are certain opportunities that age would restrict. But the first one, like I mentioned, age, there's no that. The second one I mentioned, when it comes to scholarships, this thing, if you have a PhD, you're even over 40, you will still get into your postdoctoral and everything. The third one that I also mentioned around getting Mastercard Foundation Tech Fellowship and all that stuff. It doesn't matter, like, see all my fellows. There are some fellows right now that are like 45, like in the distance, and they are getting in this fellowship. So there are some, but for the ones like Global Innovation Lab, they always typically have all those 35 age restrictions and everything. Now, for the next one, I would like to mention business labs. So business labs are different from innovation labs. So I think one that I got into in 2019 was the Ayada Franco German Innovation Lab, business lab, not innovation lab. And typically, it's like always like trainings that they are running you through different aspects of business. Another aspect of that was also another example of that was the Womenpreneur Pitch a Ton that I got into in 2019 by Access Bank and IFC and everything, where they design like a training program for you to go in step by step. Like there's always a curriculum that they, take you through for all those business lab. And it is typically for entrepreneurs that are probably trying to teach you how to structure and, basically run a good business and all that. So you will typically find such particular stuff. Now, I think that's 5. I'll mention the next one, which is number 6, which is awards. Awards is another category of global opportunity. And again, this category for awards, so whenever I say, oh, there's limitation for one, the other one most likely doesn't have limitation. An award is for people that have accomplished something in their area of whatever it is they are doing. So if you're a professional, you are here, you're saying, oh, what will I not be able to access and everything? Please, award is one category. And awards sometimes come with money, sometimes they don't come with money, they just come with recognition. And I'll give you an example. The first time I got awarded something was based on my academic line, right? And I remember it was an award. It was an academic poster award for the best poster presentation at a particular conference, which came with money, recognition, and even I think internship at P&G or something like that. I ended up not going for that, but I'm just saying that that's an award that has to do with even, the academic space. Now, of course, I've gotten some awards of recognition or women, something. can't remember whatever it is that it was again, like on those appellations of awards and everything like that. But I think maybe we had two last year. One is it mentor youth something something. I can't remember what that is, and just yeah, it is what it is. So typically, depending. So even if you're a young person, please just know that you can actually, if you apply for maybe things like all this global kind of conference and all those things, they award like, let me say, things that maybe the best research, best all those things. So awards come in that category based on whatever they see that you are doing and they award you. And for professionals, award always come in form of recognition. Like again, I refer to another client of mine that was recently recognized for professional in agri something something. Again, this particular person started a positioning, a visibility journey 3 years ago. And I remember the first time she came to meet me, she was like, Terry, I want to, I feel like I'm under maximizing my potential. I want to be out there, use my experience, and I say, babe, LinkedIn is a place to go and hold tight and, just know how you show up there. And, whenever I look at her right now, I'm just really happy. Like sometime in the next couple of weeks, she's going to be speaking in the US, right? Yeah, all started from just getting on the GOP, learning how to build such a profile. And between last year and this year, she has spoken on stages which is going to take us to the next category, which is the seventh one, speaking engagement. Speaking engagement is another category of global opportunity. Like I just mentioned, this particular person, she's going to be speaking in the US in September. But even before the US opportunity came, she spoke at an event like a very big event last year where she was the only ordinary person in code because every other person was like a governor, a minister, yada, 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 and all that. Again, like she said, I said I was the only ordinary person on that panel. And I was like, that's what comes with you doing positioning well so that they see you as an expert that you are, because you cannot just be a professional. You do use 10 years and nobody is seeing the experience you have in your brain. Nobody's going to open your brain and say, oh, I know you have this experience. You have like, it has to be shown, and you have to put some strategy and effort into getting it done. And I remember that last year, I think some amount of money that she was paid was even like close, like again, good money for speaking. So that is category 7, speaking engagements, under category of global opportunities. Um, and there was another woman that came on the tube, I think last year, professor actually, not woman, professor for me that I also know that I think she came last year, July, and she got speaking engagement at this UNEP and UNDP event. And I remember she was the only Black woman there. Yeah, from positioning on LinkedIn, right? So whenever I say that that's under category of global opportunity, and she was like, dog, the very first assignment you gave us brought me into limelight. I never believed that I could, just write one article and somebody would now reach out to me regarding come and be part of this speaking panel and think I was like, yeah. As in, you'll be shocked at how much people are looking for people that are experienced and grounded. Now, I've mentioned 7. Now let's go to 8. The 8th category I would like to also mention is internships. Why do I say so? Especially for people that are probably like at the beginning stage of their journey, career, or whatever. Internships are under category of global opportunities. Sometimes you apply for internships, all these global kind of internships. Some of them are UNDP, UN, this thing, this thing. Internships are another way to get into global networks, and some of them come with payment or stipend, some of them don't, and they are typically application-based internship because most of the ones I always say the application based, like strictly application based, they're always for people that are under 35. Let me put it, the internships sometimes, especially when it's all these UN kind of internships that are global in nature, you even find under 29 because they believe it's for those that are starting their career at the very beginning. So yeah, that's another category. I think I've mentioned 8 now. Let's go to category 9. I always call category 9 competitions. Yeah, I think internships are probably the only category of global opportunity I never won or never went through. And it is because by the time my eye opened to global opportunities, I was over 30. And I'm like, oh shit, as in, are you joking? Is this a life? traveling on somebody else's money. Oh yeah, let's go there now and everything. But I'm just saying it is what it is because I don't know who is listening to me who is in this room. If you're in this room and you're saying, please, internship is another thing that is very open to you, especially when you are like young, under 30 and everything like that. So please take note of that, but they are typically application based. 9 categories. I feel like there's something that is obvious that is jumping over my head. Media features. I remember media features. Again, I'll use samples. I think I've been featured in US InStyle magazine, Business Day. This year I was selected as one of the 15 inspiring women in Nigeria by Business Day and all that stuff. Again, I did not even know. Somebody was just calling me on WhatsApp and saying, have I seen where they tagged me on LinkedIn? One person on Business Day selected this, and I'm like, oh, really? I think I saw it maybe 4 or 5 hours after they had posted it and all. Absolutely nothing. It had nothing to do with that particular feature and all. So again, my LinkedIn is doing the work while I sleep. I keep repeating it. If you're an experienced person, whether you're experienced in academia, in typical 9 to 5 this thing, and you need any of these 10 categories of global opportunities I've mentioned, especially the ones I say that they are like you can attract them even while you are not actively applying for them, then you should honestly consider joining the GOP program. And I'm going to answer the question somebody asked, say, oh, people need clarity on how GOP benefits them. Before I go to the last agenda of this night, which is we are going to talk about eligibility for these categories of global opportunities. I'll be talking about their eligibility and how you probably can meet certain eligibility criteria. So let me respond to that question first. So I think the question was how people are asking how GOP can benefit them. So Moina, if you're on Instagram, just go to the top of my page. You will see a link to GOP. That is itrainafrica.com/LinkedIn offer. That's the URL /LinkedIn offer. That's this thing. You'll find every detail about GOP there. But if you're on Zoom, Moina will drop the link. Now, it just depends on who you are. That is why I was trying to explain each category of the global opportunities and who may, apply or attract them. How does GOP benefit people generally? Maybe I'll probably speak generally and probably then pinpoint case studies. Now, GOP, the Global Opportunities Program, is my 5-step framework that I use in helping people to basically build a brand that they can showcase in the right place, which is on LinkedIn. So it is not a LinkedIn optimization course. It is a total brand building for the global space. How do I mean? So what I teach on the GOP, which I call the PPP framework, profile building, platform optimization, and positioning. People have taken that same framework, implemented it on a platform like Medium, and they got the same results. So it is not something like it is not about the LinkedIn. It is about understanding the framework and utilizing it in all the places that matter. So I always only talk about us optimizing LinkedIn because I don't like to do wahala. I always say, let somebody gather the market for me. Let me go and harness the market. How do I mean? LinkedIn has done the work of doing their marketing and gathering 1 billion people, professionals that have good stuff in their hand, and 65 million company profiles that are looking to give somebody one thing or the other on that platform. It means LinkedIn is a marketplace for professionals. Why am I now looking for maybe an upcoming platform that doesn't even have up to 10,000 people? Do you understand what I'm saying? So for me, I always say I'm not fixated on the platform. So whenever people come to me like, I just want to optimize my LinkedIn, I say, my sister, LinkedIn is not giving me money. I'm not fixated on platform. Like I'm fixated on the global opportunities I intend to get. And if this platform is one of the things I need to add to the metrics, I will add it to my metrics and get it. So that is one of the first orientation. Whenever people get on the GP, I say, please don't be fixated on platform. If that platform goes south tomorrow, I do not care. I am moving. Right? I am moving because what the strategies I teach on this program will still work on another platform that now emerges as a den. So please first take note of that. It is not about the LinkedIn platform. It is about the strategies you implement on the platform. So how does GOP benefit you? I always say, let me explain it in 3 different ways. There is profile building, platform optimization, and positioning. Now, what does the profile building do for you? It simply helps you to understand what value means to the global employer. How do I mean? And when I say employer is just job, like one category. So I'm just going to use, I've explained 10 categories. So I'll just use one of those categories as a case study, which is job. Now, it helps you to build the profile that whoever is giving you a global opportunity wants. So in the case of job, we'll talk about the employer, right? So whoever is going to be giving you the global opportunity, you will need to first understand what value means to that person. Then we build content that will be shouting, I am the value. And whenever I say content, it's always in terms of technical writing of what value you bring to the table. Technical writing of what value you bring to the table. There's absolutely no way that you can, what's it called? There's no way that you can do, if you do not carefully curate, I think that's the way I would put it. If you do not carefully curate your own story and how you tell it, somebody else will tell it for you. And they will not tell it in the way that favors you. So I always say, one of the things that when professionals come on the program, the first thing I always say is, before you even get onto LinkedIn, you would do work. And the work is the biggest work. The work of first identifying yourself and the work you have done with respect to where you want to be, so that we can know what value from your experience we can then showcase for where you need to be. The mistake many people make is they always showcase value for where they are, not the kind of opportunities they are seeking. So you'll find people, they will put in content like managing director, something, something bank. I say you are showcasing content for where you are. Is that what you are seeking? Just help me understand, as in, so before people even build profiles, as in build the content that will then take and go and put on LinkedIn, right? Before they build the technical, the whole logical content, one of the things that first comes on the program is the clarity aspect. And I know I talk about clarity a lot in every of my sessions. It is because the first time I created the GOP program, I did not have clarity aspects in the teaching. I had to go and re-add it. I have to record it separately and go and add it. You know why? I realized that for most people, they cannot do the profile strategies. They cannot implement what I taught on the GOP until they first do the first aspect of clarity, because many people are not even clear about how they want to be seen online, or on the image they want to create, on the brand they want. And by then, what is brand? Brand is simply a perception. A perception. That is what brand is. Perception of who you are or what your company is. So whenever you say you are building the brand for my business, you are carefully curating how people think about your business. That is perception. Same thing if you say I'm building a personal brand, you are building the perception of others about me. Now, and it is always about the content and how it is put together out there. So what I realized is people are not even clear on why, and especially people that have had multiple career paths, meaning they did 5 years in customer service, 10 years in marketing, 5 years in human development, all those things, and they are trying to secure global opportunities. They are not really clear about which one they should pursue or why they should pursue it. So we had to include a clarity aspect session. So which is why it now turned to a 5-step. Before, this was just the PPP framework, profile building, platform, and positioning. We now had to, because when I now saw the challenges some people come and face, they are not clear. So we first sort out the clarity and say, Madam, you see this 5 years here, 10 years there. And I'll say, explain and say, this particular one, even if you have 5 years and you think it is your joker, in the global space, it is not your joker. It's like you come to me with banking experience and you say you did operations or, something very, teller. And I said, my sister, you see this 10 years teller, we cannot use it. It is 2 years products that we can use, something like that, because I understand the kind of global opportunities that are really prevalent in today's world. So we do that advice. When they now have clarity on that first part, we now come and start saying, okay, now let's build a profile for the aspect of you that we have clarity on. And we then start to take that one, we now go and use it to optimize our LinkedIn. So the first one is clarity, the second part is profile building, the third part is position profile, what's it called, platform optimization, that is LinkedIn optimization. Then the next one is positioning. Now let me explain. Platform optimization is, I always tell people that it's the easiest part of this work, meaning you go to LinkedIn and say, this skills is too much, let me reduce it with 10. This one is too much. But the major part of the work is the content you would have written, because that one would have written on the Google document or anywhere you want to write it. You simply carry it and come and dump it on the platform. That is what you're now doing, optimizing the platform based on that. Now, the next thing after you've done all the right things on the platform is now positioning. I always say, please take note. You can actually build a profile, optimize your platform without positioning, and you will get opportunities. Like, I kid you not. I have seen people that they get opportunities just by this thing. They get opportunities just by doing their own, stuff. It's amazing because I always say positioning only increases your visibility. It increases the number of people that can see you. That is what positioning does. And some aspects of positioning will include you, what's it called? Writing articles, doing live events, and so many other things, right? But I'm always saying that before you come and start saying, please see me, because that is what positioning is. See me, putting out content every day on LinkedIn. I will say, please, 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 if you cannot answer this question boldly, don't try to position. Don't let anybody tell you nonsense, because I've seen LinkedIn is becoming such a mess. And it is very annoying for people that say recognize value. If you see the amount of, because people think that they can position, if you see the amount of rubbish AI I'm seeing on LinkedIn these days, it's annoying. Because somebody is starting one LinkedIn visibility challenge and is doing 30 days, put out content every day because they are doing it on Instagram, 50 days of content, consistency, 100 days. Don't try it on LinkedIn. Do not try it. It might be a plus on another platform. It is a minus on LinkedIn. Please always say, understand the peculiarity of the platform. It is a professional's platform. Ask yourself, which professional does good work, good stuff, and will come and be posting content for 100 days consistently? Do you understand what I'm saying? So please, what you may consider great on another platform is not so great in terms of perception. Remember, I said branding is about perception. So please do not import one trend of a platform to another platform. I have taught people this GOP since 2020 officially, and I have been using it to help some of my inner circle before then. And I can tell you for free, I have worked with people from 27 plus career titles or job titles or whatever. And it keeps working. This same advice I gave 5 years or the same thing I put together as a coaching program 5 years ago is still working. Especially, I always tell people that, please, I put a disclaimer. I say it is working based on the metrics I need. My metrics is global opportunities. So if your metrics is 10,000 LinkedIn followers, I am not the teacher for you. It would mean that you probably need to follow those teaching of those who are trying to build followership on platform and say post 2 times a day on LinkedIn. True, you'll be gathering followers. But I always say, please, my metrics is not their metrics. My metrics is to have 1,000 connections, but be having opportunities month in, month out. So let's be clear what we are seeking. Before you say, but I actually was posting every day and I moved from 1,000 followers on LinkedIn to 5,000 followers. I said, my sister, I don't argue with you. By the time I now ask you the next question, I know I've asked somebody before that was really, I think I was holding a particular life clarity session, and she was like, in fact, I currently now have 7,000 this. I said, my sister, I understand. Can I ask you a question? She said, what? I said, please, how many opportunities have you secured this year? And she was like, what? I said, no, I was just asking an honest question. I was not trying to be cocked. I said, how many opportunities have you secured this year? But like, actually, that is why I'm here in this thing. I said, that is the point. Whereas if you go and look, me, I will tell you, I'm not looking for followers. I'm not looking for connection. Me, I am looking for decision makers that will give me opportunities. So our metrics are different. You will never see me come out and say, thanks to 10,000 LinkedIn followers, thanks to 5,000 LinkedIn followers. Are you joking? But you will see me come out and say, oh, I got a reach out in my LinkedIn inbox. This is a 10th opportunity I'm getting this year. Because that is the KPI I have set. So I always call people's attention to it that, please, it depends. Because some people are typically in my clarity sessions like this and they say, boy, I attended this LinkedIn this thing and my followership grew. I say, my sister, I understand your followership grew. Please, how many opportunities came from it? Do you understand? If you cannot answer me that question, then I don't tell myself, I am not a LinkedIn coach. I am a global opportunities expert that teaches you what to do to secure global opportunities. Now that we have that explained, that is positioning, the last thing on that framework is always maximizing opportunities. How do I mean? Maximizing opportunities is always about when you finally find the opportunities. Sometimes they reach out to people inbox or whatever. You get to an occasion, you make this contact, and people let it go cold, or they do not quickly harness or utilize that opportunity. And I always say one of the things that made me add that extra, even if it is not on the course, like the GOP, that the Global Opportunities Program, for instance, it is a two-part course combined with life support, meaning there are two courses. The first course covers clarity and profile building. The second course covers LinkedIn optimization and positioning. Now, when people enroll in that program, please note it's an application-based program, meaning you have to apply for it. We look at if you qualify for it before we can even go ahead to payment. So Amina can drop the application link in the comment section if you're interested. If you're also on LinkedIn, on Instagram, it is go to GOP page. That's itravica.com/URL /LinkedIn offer. There's an application link on that page. Now, one of the things I realized when I first started teaching professionals in 2021 was the fact that some people got opportunities and blew it because they did not know how to maximize that opportunity. So at live workshops, I started to talk about, if this opportunity comes to you, these are the kind of things that you may want to say or do and everything. It is not part of the course. It is part of the live workshops that happens for 6 times during the course of the program. So in the first 6 weeks of the program, even after you pay for the program, there's always like live support that is for every Friday, 7 to 10 p.m. West African time. Yes, I had to choose that time because most of the people that are in that program, they work. Did I say most? All. The minimum you can even have to get into that program is like, let me say 3 years working experience. So it means you have work, you have a job. So yeah, that's basically how the LinkedIn works. I am hoping that the question about how does it benefit you would have been answered based on the opportunities I said, and now that you understand how it works. Let me see. Is there any WhatsApp group on this? Seems there will be questions beyond now. Do we have any WhatsApp? I'm not sure what you're asking, as in if there's a WhatsApp group for the people that register for GOP, yes. But do we have a general WhatsApp group, just WhatsApp group? No. So all the WhatsApp group we have are for people that have joined one of our programs, at least one of our programs, even if it is a 5K workshop. I'm telling you, like this, the WhatsApp group we have are people that have joined, one aspect of our program or not. Now, let's go to the third part of this session, which is eligibility. Eligibility, why I always discuss eligibility whenever I'm talking about global opportunities is because even if I said there are 7.4 million opportunities, it is not everything you're eligible for. And I always say because eligibility has to do with the the things the giver of the opportunity wants you to have and meet. And you cannot tell yourself that, but I just want the opportunity. I always say, please, you cannot just want the opportunity. You have to be eligible for the opportunity. An example would be the MasterCard Foundation EdTech Fellowship that we just got into. They said EdTech Fellowship, meaning educational technology. If I did not have an EdTech company like iTrain Africa that I could use to apply, I am not eligible. So I cannot just be saying, and they will give them 100K. You are not eligible. Let's even start from there. So remove your highs first. Do you understand? Remove your high first. You are not eligible. And that is how all global opportunities. If something like the sector they are asking does not, you don't meet it, the age, you don't meet it, no different things. It doesn't matter the opportunity. Do you meet it? That's the first thing. And I think there's one ebook we even have. Is it 5K or 10? About $7 that basically covers this thing I just talked about. That's 10 types of global opportunities that you can apply for and win. It's an ebook. I think that ebook, beyond what I just explained, I wrote like a 40-step approach to how the things I do, like my own application manual, like, if I want to apply for an opportunity, I go and search for it here, I go do this and go do that. It's like one of those ebooks that I feel like it's a great resource. I never just talk about it. Like I just created that ebook and dumped it on our website. Anybody can pick it up from there and just buy and go through it. It's like a manual on how I apply for things. Meaning, if I see an application is closing on 30th of September, this is the first thing I would do. This is the second thing I would do. I categorize all the things I need into A and B. B is for the ones, basically, I just walk you through what I do whenever I'm applying for an opportunity. And it also explains these 10 categories like I just explained. So if it's something that I feel like it's a handbook. It's like what I feel like anybody that is interested in global opportunity should have. But it's not a LinkedIn, like it's again, it's a guide, it's a handbook, it's a manual. So it's not a course, this particular ebook I was talking about. Now, why did I have to mention that ebook? I think that's one of the places I really explained eligibility. Do not try to complain. I see a lot of people saying, but I looked at that job on LinkedIn. They say it's only open to US citizens. I say, I know. So what do you want to do about it? They say, why can't they? I say, I don't understand. Are you the giver of the opportunity? Come off it. There is nothing like why can't they jump and pass, leave it alone. If I open LinkedIn right now, you'll be seeing on one job title alone, for US time alone, you'll be seeing 90-something thousand jobs, but you are fixated on one. Like, for me, it doesn't add up. When people keep saying, but doc, I see it all the time. We run ads and people say, but doc, there was one opportunity I wanted to apply for. The NASA is only open to US time zone. What can I do about it? I said, there is absolutely nothing you can do. It's an eligibility criteria. Leave it alone. So it is different from, they do not restrict you by nationality, they do not restrict you by this, and just say that something is advantageous. So whenever you say, it's advantageous, get into that opportunity. If you have, like, let me say 60 other percent of the distance, like those ones are now, like, let me say abilities and skills, advantageous kind of requirement. They are not eligibility requirement, right? Now, but when they are eligibility criteria, please just stop it. Don't. So if it is about, if you have this communication, it's an added advantage. If you have this thing, those ones are not eligibility. They are advantageous criteria. Then I say, yes, you can, you can test it even if you don't meet everything. But anything that has to do with the age, the race, the industry that can apply, all those things, eligibility, do not stress yourself. Find the ones you are eligible for. It does not matter whether it is a job, a scholarship, or this thing. If you do not qualify, don't put your head inside it. I applied for 100 jobs. It's not a badge of honor. The badge of honor is apply for 2. I got the 2. When my cousin was going to go ahead with all his application to the US, we wrote to only 2 supervisors in the US. Both of them replied. We got the first one that we wrote to was where we got the 250K 5-year scholarship. Why? I said, oh yeah, let's do this thing step by step like this. This one, first go and do this one. This one, do your LinkedIn like that. Like we prepared, we planned, then we shot and said, let's now look at, we have narrowed down. Before we narrow down to two, it was our best two. So please, the time you will spend in doing multiple applications, spend it in learning, in planning, and implementation. Don't spend it in doing trial and error. It is futile. Because what now happens is people now get frustrated and be saying, maybe ori mi o gba, for you non-Yoruba speaking people, they will say, maybe it's just their head, like something about it's their destiny. I said, there's nothing like that. As in, just go and learn. Learn, invest your resources, time, money, learn this thing and put your best foot forward. Can you fail when you even do all that? Yes. Are there opportunities I've applied for this year that I did not get? Yes. But are there some that I have gotten? Yes. Only me, the featured on channels, only me, selected as 115 inspiring women, one thing, one thing, one thing. Only me, Mastercard Foundation, this thing. Did you understand? I know what yes, you win some, you lose some. That is like normal. But not that you lose every because you don't know how. That is the one me I now say, that one, it is just try and error, and it doesn't really pay anyone when you are doing try and error. Now, I think I have done 1 hour of teaching. I can take maybe 2 questions for this night on all the things I have talked about. Let me see if there are questions in the comment section already. I do not see. If you have a question, you can drop it. I can take 2 questions before I go. I can take 2 questions before I go. And I enjoyed myself tonight. I love to actually teach. But I only teach what I know. Like I always say, if I'm opening my mouth, it's because I probably understand what I'm about to say. So if you have questions around what I have taught tonight, please ask your question, one or two, and we'll call it a wrap and go have a great weekend. I need to go do movie night with my husband. So questions, it may be around the GOP, it may be around, what I spoke about in terms of global opportunities and all that. If you have a question, please ask. Glory A. Please unmute yourself.
All right. Good evening, Ma.
Good evening.
And thanks a lot for all you do. I would say my getting on this your program has been of great help to me. At least there are lots of things that are becoming clearer to me. And in my own case now, I studied mathematics as my first degree level. I studied maths. Then I've worked. I started off with teaching because where I served with Nigerian Military School, Zaria, and I was retained there. So I worked there for like 4 years. Then I got a job with a bank and then left. So I worked with the bank briefly. Then I moved to the yes, I worked with the bank for like 3 years, about 3 years, 2 years, 8 months or so. Then I moved to the I moved and did some courses in research, market and social research. Ma, are you getting me?
I'm listening.
Yeah, yes, because it's just like what you've described. I've moved I've moved into different sectors. So, but this time around now, I'm just trying to calm down and think properly so that I can then focus on one aspect and actually specialize in it. So, moving from the bank, I did a course in markets and social research. Then I joined an FMCG. Yes. Okay. Yes, as an intern. Yes, it's actually PZ. I did my internship there. Then I then worked with some other FMCGs. Then I worked in a real estate firm. That's Jide Taiwan and Co in Lagos. I worked there. Then I now moved back to an FMCG where I've worked for like as a marketing and research staff for 8 years now. So, but what is actually on my mind now is to focus because my background is mathematics, and I'm working on an MBA because I'm on my project now with National Open University. So I'll be rounding off. I'm almost done with the project work. So by God's grace, I'll get my certificate this December, January. Okay. So what's actually my interest now is to focus on data science. That's why I've been hesitant in upgrading or um working on my LinkedIn because just like you said, I want to actually focus on one aspect and then develop it to the maximum. Okay. So and my interest now is on data science because my background is mathematics. Okay. So
I'm going to ask you based on all the information you have given to me.
Okay.
I see a lot of Africans making the same mistake.
Mm.
When people say my background is in mathematics, it's just what you studied in school.
Yes.
And nobody
That's my
really cares
question.
about that when it comes to the global opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody cares. So I see Africans being fixated on backgrounds and go ahead to take academic qualification to buttress a background they've never worked in. And I don't know if you are part of the workshop, as in if you are part of my workshop that took place on August 9 or whatever, I don't know. I talked explicitly around people don't hire you in the global space for the pallies and the papers and the seeming papers to showcase that you bring to the table. They hire you for what you are able to deliver. And I did practical exercises in that particular 5K session. If you are not a part of it, you may want to purchase a replay or something. I explained in details there. And I said, see, right now, 84% of recruiters on LinkedIn say they use skills-based recruitment method and only 16% use academics this thing. Why am I buttressing this? You trying to say, I want to do this thing because my background, because my focus right now is in XYZ, because my background. I say, please stop. You are going back to a life you never had because you actually don't have a life in mathematics. You simply studied it, and that's it. If you ask me right now, the next question I will ask you is, what challenge do you currently have around the career you have built for 8 years, which has to do with the marketing and research in the FMCG? Do you hate the job?
Well, it's a private company, and they started off very nicely with the the commissions and so on that we get based on your revenue, the revenue you generate monthly. But you know, this is a private company, and most of them are capitalists. They are focused on making profits. So presently, there's a new method of if you don't if good if revenue is not returned within 30 days, you lose your commission. And that's why I'm actually trying to move away from that. But what I'm actually interested in is to
So
focus
you don't
on
have a
data
problem
science.
with the job in terms of the career itself. You only have a problem with where you are rendering the job.
When I'm rendering,
Where
no,
you
no,
are rendering it, where, like you are rendering it in that particular company, the private sector that is currently operating that kind of thing. So
yes,
why I asked you, if you don't have a problem with what you do, then you should be thinking about transitioning out of where you currently offer it to a place that meets your working conditions.
Okay.
And that is where the GOP comes in for you, because you have the experience you can package and showcase online to position yourself based on all this experience, and you basically move with the same experience, same this thing. Because I always tell people that the hardest thing to transition is transitioning everything. When I say transitioning everything, only you want to transition from a career path. Only you want to transition industries. Only you want to transition where you offer it, as in the nature of the job. You want to move from your career. Let's say, I will use you as an example. You want to move from being a marketer to another thing, mathematics. You also want to move companies, and you also want to move it to a remote thing. You don't change 3 variables at once. It is a recipe for disaster. You change one thing per time. Oh, I don't mind this job. I mind where I'm offering it. Carry yourself, position on whatever, build a profile, change where you are offering it to someone that you feel, is good for you. Now, when you have changed it to someone that you think is good for you, the next thing will now be, okay, now this place I've moved to, let me now move it from, I have found someone that is good for me, the industry that is good for me, the career that is good for me, let me now transition it because of flexibility to a remote version. Sometimes you can transition 2 things at the same time based on your experience working in maybe a multinational. Because again, you say you are working in a multinational. So it is easy for somebody to actually employ you in a remote multinational capacity because of your, so sometimes you can actually even alter 2 variables, meaning you change employer and you also change how you're offering it. That means from on-site to remote, and you also change industry. But I always say the logical flow is always to change 1 thing per time. You don't change industry, change career, and change how you offer the job. Recipe for disaster.
Okay.
Because it means you're not familiar with anything. Industry, nothing. Career, nothing. Remotes, you've ever worked remote, nothing. You are not familiar with anything. You are up there, you are changing 3 variables. Lock down 1 variable. Lock down 1, then you can alter the other, stabilize, alter the another. That is how this works.
Okay.
So please, the next time in fact, if the next person ever tells you, because that is my background, and I'm like, I don't understand. You finished school like when? 10, 15 years ago, and you are still stuck on that background? Don't. It has absolutely nothing. Like it's a waste of time.
Okay.
Nobody cares what you studied again. Nobody. At least not in the global stage, nobody really cares. Like they are not looking for a 10 years experienced person, and the thing they'll be putting as criteria is background. They don't care. Because your years of experience has covered that background. If you like, do have Yoruba education.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. So don't go and start acquiring certifications upon certifications on the account of background. You can acquire certifications on the account of where you are, meaning, oh, I have something in marketing and research. If you had asked me about what you should be doing, probably a master's, and go and do something around, go to this thing online, as in schools. Go and look for marketing and research kind of what's it called? This thing, masters or something. And that is what you should be focusing on. Ground yourself in it. Not I want to go and do. But again, MBA is not too far from marketing and this thing, so it's still a very yeah.
Thanks a lot. Thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much.
So I think the second question, I'll take it from the comment section, and that'll be all for tonight. Someone says, is there a guideline to assure me that GOP is best for me? So again, it's an application-based program. So once you fill in the application, we assess what you have and we'll recommend to you if it is good for you or not. And in addition to that, we have a sales page. You've been replied to. That sales page, you will see it, I Train Africa. Give me a minute, I will share with you. Just go to the sales page, itrainafrica.com/LinkedIn. You would find all the information you need about the program. I always say, please, if you're a professional, please take time to go through a sales page to understand exactly what you are getting. And that is also where you have the link to apply. So if you type itrainafrica.com LinkedIn offer, you would see all the details you need about GOP, and you can make that decision if you want to apply for it or not. So yeah, this particular page details all the things you need.
And first, I have been part of the candidate of the first BFG, that's the Blockchain Founders Incubator.
Give me a minute, I want to put off this thing that is talking on it.
Numerous companies across Africa and internationally. I currently have a job role of my dreams in an international company based in Frankfurt, Germany, and I'm being paid in dollars. And all because profile brought me so many emails. I thought, you know what, this must be witchcraft. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you can go to that page for that person that asked that question too. Please read up around, and you can also send Moina a message on WhatsApp if you have further questions. She will put the Rafiat said, I just like listening to you, Doc. I joined 1 hour into the time, but every minute spent with you is usually worth it. Thank you so much for the compliment. I think I saw another question. Okay, thanks for the more clarification, Jiba. I want to be helped to build and package my LinkedIn. Okay, please just apply for GOP, and you'll get the help you need on that program. Doctor, you're a great teacher, and I enjoyed this session. As an operations support lead in a fintech organization, are there global opportunities based in this role? Yes, fintech is one of those. Fintech is one of those areas that they're always looking for people like in that place, because fintech is a global trend. Let me put it that way. Like, in fact, it has become a joke around how fintech, there's always one startup in fintech, one thing. So fintech has kind of technically become a joke in the global space, but what it means is with the emergence of a lot of fintechs, the demand for people that have knowledge around fintech is high. So if I were to, let me do an example of something for you. Let me share a new screen and go and Google fintech right now. You'll be amazed at the opportunities that abound in the fintech. Like, it's just crazy. Like, I look at the opportunities in fintech industry and I'm like, oh wow. Like, because everybody is building a solution that is fintech-ish in nature and things like that. So it's always a great industry to find opportunities. So you should not even be asking the question about will I find opportunities in fintech? It should be like, which one will I go with? Like, right? So I'll just put industry as a search word, like fintech, that's all. Right? I just put fintech as an industry, and that's all. And you're seeing 7,000 open jobs in the field. Enjoying product talent community, executive mindset. Like, fintech is like a pure water at the industry. Let me put it that way. So you always find something that suits you. Program manager, career development, learning experience, content production lead, Airbnb, 188K, 235K. Let me go and apply for this job, but learning experience, content production. I have experience in this one now. It's just that my love for design training is too much, right? Expert career coach and all that. You just put fintech and you would find plenty of things that suit you. Now, if you want to narrow it down, because in your case, you said fintech in operations, you can, put your whatever support, whatever, to narrow it down. Now, that's come down to, 5,000. Explore the opportunities, put further filters, whether it is hybrid or remote, whether it's experience level, put all those filters and you'll see something that comes up for you. So thank you so much. And I would be expecting some of you. And when does GOP start? Please always know GOP starts when you start. Once people enroll for as in once you apply, we approve your application. You can get started, because people get started when they are ready to start securing global opportunities. What starts in November is my support, because the support is a bonus on the learning. So, and I'm only able to offer support 3 times a year because of my schedule. So yeah, the support that will then start for everybody that's enrolled between July and November will now start in November. And why do I think the November batch is one of my favorite batches of GOP. Why? Towards the end of the year, when people start to learn basically do things and position themselves and do all that stuff. That window, end of the year to beginning of the year, especially for those that are looking for opportunities to do with jobs, is always a very good time because people are like, there's always that shuffle going on. People are leaving, people are looking for people. So in the global space, there's that shuffle. People want to start their year with the hands they need. So they start to do recruitment. Like once October enters, recruitment starts because it takes a while before you then this thing, then people then resume in January. So please get yourself prepared ahead of the boom that takes place in the last quarter in the world. Check this job that I search now. Come back like October, end of October. So come and search. You can be seeing 15,000. Why? Shuffle is beginning. So please, if you want to benefit from that shuffle window, you may want to start early. And why I say start early is I'm not a miracle worker. I'm just a strategist. I'm very good with strategy, right? So I think ahead of a lot of things. I'm like, okay, if I'm going to need this, if I need my LinkedIn to look like this, if I need perception of me to look like this, I need to have done that thing by October. So by the time I start putting out positioning stuff by November and I'm applying for this thing, I already look great. I don't want to start building this thing in November. So the profile is not ready till December. Now shuffle window has closed. Do you understand? So please, I always advise that if you can, start early. If your intention is to ensure that you are in a new space by 2025, 2026 beginning. That'll be all from me today. Thank you so much. And you can unmute yourself. Stop. You can unmute yourself to say a proper good night and enjoy. Have a great weekend, everybody. I'm going to have a great weekend. Bye. You can unmute yourself. Good night. Good night.
Thank you, Doc. Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Good night.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you. Good night.